welcome to daily discussion. The first topic that we take up today is the Public Examination Bill 2024. After the NEET scandal, government has brought this, notified the Public Examination Prevention Bonfire Means Bill 2024, effective from 21st June 2024. The NEET UG 2024 exam face allegation of question paper leaks and grace mark were awarded to over 1,500 students. The results announced in June 4 triggered protest and legal action, and finally the result was cancelled and fresh examination has been rescheduled. Similarly, following report of question leak, the UGC NET exam was cancelled a day after it was held. Data estimate indicate that over 70 cases of question paper leak occurred in the country between 2016 and 2023, affecting more than 1.5 crore students in different competitive examinations. In more than 70 cases, there is the evidence of leak in the question papers, which are affected more than 1.5 crore students and their carrier. Data show that at least 22 recruitment drives in Rajasthan were cancelled between 2018 and 2023 due to paper leak. Highest is in Rajasthan. So out of these 70, only 12 are in Rajasthan. Key provisions of the Public Examination Bill 2024. It aims to prevent use of unfair means in public examination and bring greater transparency, fairness and credibility. Definition of public examination. Public examination refers to any examination conducted by a public examination authority listed in the schedule of the Public Examination Bill or any other authority that may be notified by the central government. The schedule includes the Indian Public Service Commission, Staff Selection Commission, Railway Recruitment Board, Institute of Bank and Personal Selection (IBPS), and the NTA. So, exclusion of candidates, bona fide candidates of public examination are excluded from the scope of the Act. Defaulting candidates will not be punished under this Act. Instead, appropriate action will be taken by the respective public examination authority on the person who are involved in this sort of activities. Broad definition of unfair means that defines 15 actions that constitute the use of unfair means in public examination for monetary or wrongful gains. This includes leaking question papers or answer keys, directly or indirectly assisting candidates, willfully violating norms, willfully violating norms or standards, Then tampering with computer networks or resources, creating fake websites and more. Cognizable offense. Section 9 of the Act stipulates that all offences are cognizable, non-bailable and non-compoundable. Consequently, arrest can be made without a warrant and bail is not granted as a matter of right. Instead, magistrate will decide if the accused is eligible for release on bail or not. The police cannot do this. Organized crime. Section 11 of the Act pertains to organized crime, prescribing penalty of 5 to 10 years imprisonment and fine up to 1 crore for involvement in this sort of activities. It has been mentioned in the new bill. Okay. So, cognizable offense, then consequently arrest can be made without a warrant and bail is not granted as a matter of right. The magistrate will decide if the accused is eligible for release on bail or not. Organized crime, section 11 of the Act pertain to organized crime, prescribing penalty of 5 to 10 years imprisonment and fine up to 1 crore rupees. If an institution is involved in committing an organized crime, its property will be labeled attachment and forfeiture by the government. Punishment for violation, imprisonment for 3 to 5 years and a fine of up to 10 lakhs. If the convict fails to pay the fine, additional imprisonment will be imposed according to the provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita 2023. Those involved in conducting the examination can fine up to 1 crore along with other penalties. Investigating authority, the Act authorizes the central government to refer any case under jurisdiction to a central investigating agency as needed to ensure the matter are handled swiftly and with due diligence. National Technical Committee on Public Examination, the bill proposes establishing a national level committee to enhance the security of the computerized examination process. This committee will be responsible for developing protocols to protect digital platforms, creating robust IT security system, ensuring electronic surveillance of examination centers, and setting national standards for IT and physical infrastructure used in conducting the examinations. Designation of a public servant. The Act designates officials of Public Examination Authority as public servant to ensure accountability and transparency in the process. Consequently, appropriate administrative action can be taken against any defaulting public servant in accordance with the authority's service rules and procedures. Need for law to prevent unfair means in public examination. Lack of substitute law. No specific substitute law currently address unfair practices or offences by entities conducting public examination for the central government and its agencies. Existence of unfair practice. Malpractices in public examinations lead to delays and cancellations, negatively impacting the prospects of millions of youth. Ensuring transparency, fairness and credibility. The Public Examination Bill aims to enhance transparency, fairness and credibility in the examination system, ensuring that students' genuine effort are fairly rewarded. Next is a topic on science and technology about the GM crop, balancing food security and environmental impact. Genetically modified crops are touted as solution for global food security, especially in the face of climate change. The current gene revolution uses genetic editing to improve crop resilience, aiming to support a growing population and combat climate-induced agricultural challenges. What is GM crop? A GM or transgenic crop is a plant that has a novel combination of genetic materials obtained through the use of modern biotechnology. The new gene revolution, driven by tools like CRISPR, allows precise gene editing without introducing foreign genes. This technology helps develop new GM crop varieties, enhancing food security. Example, optimized photosynthesis. Research projects are focusing on optimizing photosynthesis in staple crops such as maize and rice. This aims to improve their ability to convert sunlight, water and carbon dioxide into energy, thereby enhancing yield and reducing atmospheric carbon. Drought tolerant maize. Scientists are developing drought tolerant transgenic maize by incorporating genes from a plant known as the Xerophyta viscosa, which can tolerate severe dehydration up to 95%. So, insect resistance cowpea. Australian scientists are Okay, so insect resistance cowpea. Australian scientists are bioengineering cowpeas to have built-in resistance to insect pests, crucial for protecting this important legume staple in Africa from the crop failure. Status of GM crop in India. In India, BT cotton remains the sole GM crop approved for commercial cultivation. As of 2022, the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee has granted environmental release approval for the mustard hybrid DMH11 Dhara, though its implementation is pending a Supreme Court decision. Additionally, ongoing research and field trials are underway for several other crops including chicken pea, pigeon pea, corn and sugarcane. Regulation of the GM crop in India. So in India, GM crop regulations are governed by the 1989 rules under the Environmental Protection Act. Okay. Forest and climate change handles the appraisal. The Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change handles the appraisal of the GM crop proposals. The Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, the authorized agency to grant environmental release for any GM crop. GM crop role in enhanced yield and resilience. Okay, pest resistance. GM crop can be engineered to be more resistant to pest and disease, which can lead to increased yield. This is important in a world where food security is a growing concern. BT cotton engineered with a gene from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis produce a protein toxic to certain pests. Drought tolerant, they contain gene that enable the plant to withstand water scarcity. This characteristic enhance crop resilience in regions prone to drought, ensuring more consistent yield. Then drought resistant GM maize, nutritional enhancement. GM crop can be engineered to have higher level of nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. This can help to improve the health of people who consume these crops. Then golden rice with beta carotene. Okay, so the cultivation of herbicide tolerant GM crop can lead to the overuse of specific herbicides. This can result in development of herbicide resistance weeds, disrupting local ecosystem and reducing biodiversity. Biosafety concern, they can reduce species diversity. For example, insect resistance plants might harm insects that are not their intended target and thus result in the destruction of that particular species. Cross pollination and gene flow. GM crops such as genetically modified canola can crossbreed with wild relatives, potentially leading to the spread of modified genes in non-GM populations and affecting natural plant diversity. Unintended consequences. Okay, health impact. So, altered nutritional profile in GM crop could impact human health in unforeseen ways. The long-term effect of consuming genetically modified food needs through thorough investigation. Resistant development, over-reliance on certain GM traits can lead to the evolution of resistance pest or disease necessitating more intensive chemical treatments and posing risk to the environment and the human health. Reservation of the judgment and overemphasis on merit. The Patna High Court annulled the Bihar government's notification increasing reservation in the topic from 50% to 65% for backward classes, scheduled castes and tribes in government jobs and educational institutions. This expansion was based on the much discussed caste survey of 2023. The Indian Constitution promises social justice and allows the state to make special provisions for underprivileged groups. However, courts have often nullified expanded reservation policy for various groups like Jat, Gujars, Maratha, the Patidars, Muslims using the strict scrutiny doctrine. The judiciary has prioritized merit and efficiency in administration in their decision in the recent past. Why did Patna High Court strike down 65% reservation? The judgment firmly dismissed the idea of proportionate representation for backward classes, stating that this concept is not supported by Article 15 and 16. Article 16 mentions inadequacy of representation. The High Court cited the Supreme Court's ruling in the VANIK case, where it stated that adequate representation should not be interpreted as proportionate representation. Bihar reservation amendment exceeds the 50% reservation limit. The Supreme Court introduced this limit in M.R. Balaji in 1962, considering it discriminatory under the right of equality. This principle has been upheld in subsequent ruling like the Devadasan in 1964, M.M. Thomas in 1976, and the Indira Swani case in 1992. The 50% reservation rule is defended on grounds of efficiency and merit. The Patna High Court also noted that merit cannot be entirely sacrificed for this issue. The proposed reservation was not proportionate given that scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and backward class constitute 84.46% of Bihar population. The Supreme Court acknowledged in Indira Swani that the proportion of backward class to the total population is relevant. The Indira Swani implied that strict adherence to the 50% limit is not necessary in remote or less developed areas. The High Court rejected the idea that Bihar is outside the national mainstream, highlighting its significant role in national politics. The court observed that there is no analysis of the caste survey and consultation with the expert before increasing the reservation by the government there. What are the issue with this judgment as per the author? Inconsistency in policy implementation. Before extending reservation to the economically weaker section category, no survey was conducted to assess their underrepresentation. However, the Janahit Abhiyan Supreme Court decision represent a departure from the typical strict scrutiny approach in judicial ruling, where it allowed breach of 50% limit. Neglect of Bihar's socio-economic context. The government overlooked Bihar's significant changes in code, such as its lowest per capita income, less than $8,800, highest fertility rate, and lowest college density in the country. These factors present strong arguments in favor of extending the reservation. Expert consultation in affirmative action policy. The requirement of analyzing the caste survey and consulting with expert could impose additional constraint on the government's affirmative action policy in the future. So these are the things which are highlighted by the court, but other Supreme Court ruling is there, so the court would stay on this. Overemphasis on the merit and efficiency. There is no scientific or empirical evidence that supports the notion that SC/ST OBC employee perform less efficiently than those recruited under the general category. Justice Chinnappa Reddy countered the efficiency argument in Basant Kumar case, challenging the assumption that upper caste individual appointed based on presumed merit naturally outperform those appointed through the reservation. Way forward, Justice Chandrachud and B.K. Pratibha too observed that we need to refine our notion of merit in terms of a more inclusive and plural society. Merit cannot lead to exclusion. Merit must be measured in terms of social good. Next topic is about a food. So buffer stock and food security. The article points out that in India, Demand for the cereals for direct household consumption is decreasing while there is a growing demand for processed foods, animal feed, and fuel. Even though official data indicates that cereal production is higher than total consumption, there are unexplained factors that need clarification. How has India's cereal production and consumption changed in the last 2 decades? India's cereal production has increased significantly, ranging from 196.4 million tons in 1999-2000 to 303.3 metric ton in 2022-23. So it is a significant one-third increase. As per the National Sample Survey Office latest household consumption survey report, the amount of cereal consumed per person has decreased steadily. In rural area, it dropped from 12.72 kg to 9.61 kg per month, and in urban area from 10.42 kg to 8.05 kg per month between 1990 to 2000 to 2022-23. Shift in cereal use, increasing use of processed from bread, biscuit, cake, noodles, etc. Growing application in animal feed, starch productions, and ethanol fuel. Coarse grain consumption, production of other cereals such as maize, barley, and millets amounted to 57.3 million tons. Direct household consumption of these grains are less than 5 million tons. These cereals were mainly consumed indirectly through animal products. Gap between production and consumption, the difference widens from 48 metric ton in 1990 to 2002, nearly 151 metric ton in 2022-23. Where is the surplus production of cereal going? A record export of 32.3 metric ton in 21-22. Export total to 30.7 in 22-23. Industrial use estimated 38 metric ton used in processed food forms, bread, biscuit, and noodles. Approximately 50 to 55 metric ton used for feed, starch making, and fermentation. Food processing and industrial application. Maize utilization, 90% or more of the 38.1 metric ton produced are used in poultry, livestock, and aqua feed for wheat milling and starch production. Ethanol production, increasing use of cereals in multi-feed distilleries for ethanol production. The government program aims for 20% ethanol blending in petrol. Public distribution system and food security. Okay, government procurement, 56.9 metric ton of rice and 26.2 metric ton of wheat produced in 2022-23. Procurement exceed the annual cereal requirement of 50 to 60 metric ton for the public distribution system. National Food Security Act, 813.5 million persons receive 5 kg of wheat or rice per month through the PDS. PDS settlement cover more than half of the monthly per capita cereal consumption given to the governments. And right now, Garib Kalyan, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, this 5 kg provided free of cost by the government to the people having the ration card. Apart from that, the Antyodaya Anna Yojana and the Annapurna Yojana beneficiary also get this free food grain supply by the government to the public distribution outlets. What is the issue with the surplus production? So, impact of the surplus on government stock despite surplus production. Government agencies like the Food Corporation of India are accumulating large stock by procuring more than the total annual requirement. The public distribution under the National Food Security Act. Conflicting indicators, there is high cereal inflation, 8.69% per year on year in May, despite export restrictions. Further, the government warehouse stock have depleted. All these raises question about the accuracy of official production estimates. Then human African trypanosomiasis had the World Health Organization announced that Chad has successfully eradicated the Gambinage form of human African trypanosomiasis. Chad eliminates human African trypanosomiasis as a public health problem. Chad has become the first country of the year and the 50th worldwide to eliminate a neglected tropical disease, the NTD. Who has validated the elimination of this Gambinage form of HED in 7 countries: Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, Uganda, and Equatorial Guinea, Ghana, and Chad. Process in the flight heads entity, Chad has joined other countries that have eliminated sleeping sickness, contributing to the global target of eliminating 100% NTDs by 2030. About human African trypanosomiasis, that HAT is commonly known as sleeping sickness. Disease causing agents: human African trypanosomiasis is caused by the protozoan parasites. Transmission: infected testis flies. Symptom: the disease is typically fatal if untreated, causing symptoms like fatigue, headache, and in severe case coma. Form of HAT: there are 2 forms of HAT based on the subspecies of the parasites. Trypanosoma brucei gambinage account for 92% of the reported case. Trypanosoma brucei podesinasis responsible for the remaining 8% cases. Verification of the EVM burnt memory. For the first time, 11 candidates from 2024 Lok Sabha and State Assembly elections have requested verification of the burnt memory of the EVM and VVPAT units. About the verification of EVM burnt memory, in April, the Supreme Court allowed losing candidates to seek verification of EVM and VVPAT burnt memories. The burnt memory microcontroller in 5% of the EVM, including the control unit, ballot unit, and the VVPAT per assembly constituency or segment of a parliamentary constituency, shall be checked and verified by engineers from the EVM manufacturers. After the result are announced, the candidate who finished in 2nd or 3rd place can submit a written request for verification to check for tampering or modification. The court stated that candidates or their representatives must identify the EVM to be verified by polling stations or serial number and have the opinion to be present during the verification process. A request for verification must be submitted within 7 days of the result declaration. The court stated that Election Commission of India will notify the actual cost for the verification and the candidate requesting it must cover these expenses. If any tampering is found on the EVM, the expenses should be refunded. About verification, okay, so the ECI releases the administrative SOP for checking and verifying the burnt memory of the EVM and the VPATs. Key part includes the district electoral office, okay. The district electoral officer will be responsible for overseeing the verification process. 2nd and 3rd place candidate can request verification of up to 5%. Candidate must submit their request in writing to the DO and deposit 40,000 plus 50% GST per set of EVM, BU, CU, and the VVPAT with the manufacturer. The DOs will send a list of applicants to the state chief electoral officers who will notify the EVM manufacturer, Bharat Electronics Limited, Electronic Corporation of India Limited, within 30 days of the result declaration. Verification will start 15 days after the results are declared, provided no election petition are filed. If election petitions are filed, verification will only begin after the court order. The process should start within 30 days of the manufacturers being informed of any election petition. Verification will take place in designated halls at the manufacturer's facility equipped with strong rooms and CCTV cameras. Electronic devices, including cell phones and camera, are prohibited inside the hall. The hall will have a single entry and exit point with at least one section of the armed police forces deployed there. Then Cloud 3.5 Sonnet. So Anthropics has introduced Cloud 3.5 Sonnet, which is its latest AI model. This is the first model in Anthroponics' upcoming Cloud 3.5 AI series. Cloud 3.5 Sonnet is a large language model developed by Anthropic, part of a family of generative pre-trained transformers. It follows Cloud 3 Sonnet. These models are pre-trained to predict the next word in largest text database. Anthropic claims Cloud 3.5 Sonnet outperforms Cloud 3 OPUS significantly. It is twice as fast as the Cloud 3 Sonnet. Performance of Cloud 3.5. Cloud 3.5 Sonnet set new records in several areas. It excels in coding tasks as measured by the human able perform well in tests for graduate level reasoning known as the GPQA and shows strong knowledge at the undergraduate level according to the MMLU. It has improvement in understanding stable details, humors and complex instruction. It is particularly good at writing high quality content. Okay. So what about the Cloud 3.5 Sonnet visible capabilities? It is their best vision model so far. A vision model in the AI can understand and analyze visual data like images and videos. It shows noticeable improvement in tasks that need visual reasoning, such as decoding chart and graphs. It can also accurately read text from unclear and imperfect images. It quickly identified the location by reading a poster and text on a distant wall. Cloud 3.5 Sonnet's ability to transcribe text from images is very useful for retail, logistics, and financial services. In these fields, AI often needs to get information from images, graphics, or illustrations rather than just from text. Then Nord Stream methane leaks. Thousands of tons of methane from the September 2022 Nord Stream pipeline explosions dissolved in the Baltic Sea, raising concern about marine life and carbon cycle. A study found that between 10,000 to 50,000 tons of methane likely dissolved in the water, potentially altering microbial life and local carbon budgets. The Nord Stream pipeline are crucial conduits for transporting natural gas from Russia to Europe. Nord Stream 1, completed in 2011, runs from Bagbor in Russia to Lubmin in the Greifswald, Germany, with major ownership by the Russian state-owned gas company Gazprom. Before the war, the Russia and Ukraine, this pipeline supplied 40% of the Europe gas supply gas, which was now decreased to 9%. The Nord Stream 2 is 1200 km pipeline extending from the Ust-Luga in Russia to the Greifswald in Germany, designed to carry 15 billion cubic meter of gas annually. This pipeline crosses the extensive exclusive economic zone of Russia, Finland, Sweden, Denmark and Germany, as well as the territorial water of Russia, Denmark and Germany, highlighting its extensive reach and strategic importance. Then the cyber mercenaries. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned about escalating cybersecurity threats and misuse of digital technology. Through cyber mercenaries, highlighting growing sophistication in malware like Trojans and AI-enabled cyber operations. About the cyber mercenaries, they are individuals or private groups had to conduct cyber operations, both offensive and defensive, targeting specific networks and infrastructure. They facilitated spying on internet-connected devices such as computers and phones. Example of cyber mercenary includes Lazarus, Ocean Lotus Group, and the NSO Group. This practice operates in a legal gray area due to absence of international conventions regulating their activities. Coming to the question, examining the socio-economic changes in the Jammu and Kashmir following the abrogation of Article 370. Okay. So examine the socio-economic changes in Jammu and Kashmir following the abrogation of Article 370. How are this impacting the region's stability and its integration with the rest of India? The abrogation of Article 370 on August 5, 2019 was a watershed moment for Jammu and Kashmir, aiming to integrate the region more closely with India. Since then, Jammu and Kashmir has experienced various socio-economic transformations. For instance, the Union Territory received investment proposal worth 81,122 crore within 2 years post abrogation, a significant leap from just 14,000 crore in private investment since independence. This shift underscored the broader changes in the region. Socio-economic changes, economic investment and development. Investment surge post abrogation. Jammu Kashmir attracted 81,122 crore investment proposal with project worth total 20,000 crore under execution. This influx aims to boost local industry and employment. Infrastructure project. Major infrastructure projects including highway, power plants and health facilities have been accelerated. So, for example, the construction of the Jojila terminal is set to enhance connectivity between Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. Tourism growth, tourist influx in 2020, Jammu Kashmir welcomed 2.11 crore tourists, making the highest influx in 77 years. This surge has significantly boosted local economies and employment in the hospitality sector. New attraction, development of new tourist spots such as the Tulip Garden in Srinagar has diversified tourist attraction contributing to year-round tourism. Employment and education. So job creation program, the Rozgar Mela initiative created nearly 98.676 jobs, while recruitment in the CAPF saw over 2.43 lakh new personnel in the last 5 years, enhancing employment opportunity in the military, that security forces. Educational initiative, implementation of the right to education and other educational program has improved literacy rate and educational infrastructure benefiting local youth. Grassroots democracy, Panchayat Raj institutions, the establishment of Panchayat Raj institutions including that Panches, Sarpancha and District Development Council has decentralized governance empowering local communities. Local election, conducting local election has increased political participation, enhancing democratic process at the grassroots level. Social integration, legal reforms, the application of central law such as the National Minorities Commission Act has ensured legal equality, benefiting marginalized groups including scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and the women. Reservation policies, the 10% reservation for the economical weaker section in job and education institution has promoted social equality. Impact on regional stability and integration. So, decline in militancy, improved intelligence, robust counterintelligence operation, and increased public cooperation have contributed to this decline. Peaceful environment, public life has largely returned to normal with a notable absence of major disruption from protesters or violation in recent years. except few attacks by the terrorists and stray incidents. Enhance local governance. The functioning of the Panchayat Raj institutions has led to more stable and responsive governance, improving public trust in local administration. Mainstream political integration. Traditional political narratives have evolved, focusing more on development and governance rather than regional autonomy, promoting a more unified political environment. In human rights concern, marginalization issue, despite advancement, there are ongoing grievances related to perceived political and economic marginalization of the vulnerable sections. Civil liberties, reports of restrictions on civil liberties such as internet shutdown and curfew have raised concern about human rights and long-term peace. The abrogation of Article 370 has catalyzed significant socio-economic changes in Jammu and Kashmir, fostering economic growth, infrastructure development, and improved governance. These changes have contributed to regional stability and better integration with the rest of India. However, addressing human rights concerns and ensuring inclusive growth remain essential for sustained peace and development. So, thank you for watching. Keep watching regular to update yourself on a daily basis.